Human Trafficking 3 is the latest Paradox game attempting to make money in the mighty Chinese market. Honestly, I get it, I want to do the same thing, so please open up your internet to the rest of the world, it will be fine, promise. That's right, today we're playing in China and we're going to create our very own custom dynasty. But before that, this video is sponsored by a cabal of shady foreign agents endorsed by President Trump, as you can clearly see here. And I really want you to know the truth. Being a governor is a great job. Helping your government and community is always respectable, but that's temporary. What really stays in time is intergenerational wealth, so don't be shy. Take some of those government funds for yourself. Your children will thank you. As a Balkan man, I approve this message. Now back to the video. Everyone, I present to you Jeffrey Longdong, a 16-year-old shady prick with deep connections to the finance industry. Clearly, he's a son of a wealthy immigrant. Unfortunately, his father tripped on his rope in prison, which happens more often than you think. And now, of course, it is up to Jeffrey to human traffic his way up the political hierarchy. Now, of course, we need some merit if we want a real government job. This will require us to pass a couple of tests. Remember, guys, the first step into becoming a successful financier is graduate high school. The second step is kidnap high schoolers and sell them to rich perverts, which sounds quite complicated, but don't worry, guys, as the #1 life advice channel on YouTube, I'll guide you through every step. First, we need to get some concubines. What kind of a self-respecting sex trafficker is content being a virgin? Am I right, guys? And of course, as a self-respecting brothel enjoyer, we have to attend the child's exam. Now I'm gonna skip most of the examinations, but basically you have to exchange stress for academic success. Remember, guys, the biggest secret of having a successful high school career is visiting the brothel. That's right, once you pay for stress relieving massages, you can push yourself to the limit and achieve peak academic performance. The things I wish I knew when I was in high school, am I right, guys? The first local exam, oh my god, I can't wait to prove to the world that I'm not a mere amalgamation between Bill Cosby and Jeffrey Epstein. I actually know what I'm doing when it comes to governance. Also, we have to upgrade the Longdong estate. This is practically your private business ventures, which will be passed down the generations. Now it's time for us to take the exam. Remember, guys, cheating is for losers. Small talk went flat, a classic high school interaction. Obviously, I'm gonna stress myself to the limit, because I have a secret weapon, prostitution, which will always lower my stress for the appropriate compensation. Now I might have failed the essay, but overall, I managed to pass the exam. Oh, there you go, guys, my advice was pretty solid. My concubine is pregnant, what's pulling out? Am I right, guys? Now looking at the mighty emperor, he's obviously a real manly man, and I can also request a job at his court. He just has to like me a little bit more, and I'll be able to taste his food, like as a job. Now, of course, I'm going to join the pro-song movement. Hopefully, sucking up to the big man will assist in my career development. And I have twins. The dong is definitely long, if you know what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm going to give my son the famous Chinese name, Favorite Son. He's my favorite son, by the way. And of course, my daughter shall be named Woman, another daughter, and she's a bleeder. And I shall name you Bleeder, a famous Chinese name. Now, obviously, I've been trying to seduce one of the ladies in the emperor's court. I do know if I get caught, they might cut off my dong. I just have to risk it. She rejected me. Crap! That's alright, guys. When a woman rejects your advances, all you have to do is right-click and then left-click on the pin icon. This will add her to a list, which will allow us to find her later, evaluate how much we've grown as people, cope with the rejection with mutual understanding and respect. Now I just have to say, one of the emperor's concubines, Yao Huo, is definitely what I said once I saw her. Remember, guys, I'm definitely risking my dong, but if everything goes well, I can murder my way into making my son the emperor. That's why I'm black, by the way. I don't want any confusions. Another son, I shall name him Longdong, so no one bullies him in high school. Another son, I shall name you another one. Remember, guys, as a Sagittarius, I constantly shoot my shot into the women of my life, and I managed to successfully seduce Yahuao. This does mean that her vagina is the racing track between my semen and the emperor's. May the better man win. I guess I have to seduce another one, so we can raise the stakes. And Fuchsia is responding well to my poem, as I'm a romantic. Alright, guys, it's time for me to risk it all and confess she rejected. Crap, I risked my dong for this. Never mind, the capital exam is on. In the hierarchy of exams, this is the really big one, organized by the big man himself. himself, it feels appropriate to lay down the thickest of advice. Never allow influencers, politicians or celebrities to shove down their politics down your throat. And the way they do it is very simple. They try to anger you, so you react emotionally. And this makes me so angry. You should be angry too. Never forget, we have to increase the military funding, soften migration controls, tax everyone based on their level of income, save the ocean and environment, commit to long-term high-scale bombardment against poor African villages in order to lower the locals' radical levels and defeat the terrorists once and for all. And most importantly, state-mandated girlfriends. Everything else is misinformation. Ignore it. I failed the test, crap. But fear not guys, I can always visit the brothel to lower my stress level. Also, I can finally follow in my father's footsteps. Hey guys, remember that girl that rejected my advances and really hurt my feelings? Now is the time to act. And even her spouse is willing to help me in this endeavor. Remember guys, don't stay in an unfulfilling relationship. Human traffic her instead. Damn it, I have the clap. Prostitution. Am I right guys? And finally, it is time for me to face my complex emotions. She escaped. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna murder that woman. I cannot bear the thought that there's an innocent man locked in an unfulfilling relationship. Alright, no more ruffle in the brothel. It's time for me to get married to a 4-year-old and fully commit to the Bill Cosby cosplay. She's also a daughter of the Emperor, by the way. The Emperor is dead, long live the Emperor. And of course, I have to seduce his wife. Hang on a minute. That's the woman that rejected my advances, escaped my kidnapping plan, and I'm also attempting to murder. This is a nightmare. I have been rejected by someone who is doing far better without me. This has to stop. Crap, she escaped again. Man, this rejection trauma is only getting bigger. Luckily for me, there's far more powerful people who want her dead now. Another capital exam. Finally, I might not have studied very much, but I've grown as a person, which means I feel ready. Curses! Failed again. Favorite son is getting patient. Hell yeah! He's my favorite son, by the way. Finally, twice schemed, which means I can also kidnap the Emperor. Wait a minute, his secretary director is going to help me. Hilarious. Honestly, I don't know what I can do with an Emperor in my dungeon, but it's sure to be exciting. Someone wants to arrange a betrothal with my daughter. Woman. She's a woman, by the way. Now, I do not believe it's considered human trafficking if the child is yours, but political gains are political gains. I'm also going to use some of my influence to promote my career, which definitely bumped me up the list. This is the Chinese job listing, by the way. Whenever someone dies, the most qualified person takes his job. We still have ways to go, but being the 100 guy is no joke. Another capital exam. I'm definitely not trying to kidnap you, by the way. I'm overwhelmed by stress and I can't go to the brothel. Alright, that's it. I'm going to commit murder. How dare I reject my advances? Whew, that's such a relief. See that guys? She wasn't better off without me. That really helps me appreciate my self-worth. And I managed to pass the test. See that guys? A little bit of self-confidence can go a long way. I am somewhat stressed. However, I'm finally a schemer, which means we can focus on getting some stewardship perks as an investment in my future. I can't wait to get my high-paying governing job high school kept promising. Oh crap, the Emperor is onto us. That's alright guys, I shall distract him by murdering his son. Remember guys, when your opponents are playing chess, you start playing checkers, because the rules are easier and even an idiot can win at that game. Work smarter, not harder. Am I right guys? And it's time for me to debate the conservative movement. It's all the immigrants' fault. They keep pouring from Africa and flood the brothels with trafficked children. I know, because I'm constantly visiting the brothels. That's right, unlike you gentlemen, I actually know what I'm talking about. Whew. That was a close one. If I didn't show up, we were gonna look like the bad guys. Someone wants to marry Bleeder, thank God. I honestly thought she was unmarriable, being a bleeder and all. A single scratch and she floods the room with blood. It's honestly disgusting. God bless sick perverts. Woman came of age. Wait a minute, that means that favorite son has also grown. He's my favorite son, by the way. Of course I have to marry woman, as it was already arranged, and find an intelligent woman for my favorite son. My children women deserve the best spouses, so they can produce the best offspring. And I also have to marry Bleeder to her sadistic husband. Anyway, we can get golden obligations and finally blackmail people for money, which might seem morally dubious, but I'm still jobless and I desperately need money. When it comes to the estate, every upgrade gets an upgrade, which also requires an upgrade. It's almost as if the game expects for you to get a high-earning job by the age of 21. High school kept promising, but I just don't see it yet. And I can take the capital exam again. Wait a minute, didn't I already pass it? Oh, I get it. If I really want the high-paying governing job, I have to pass the test multitude of times. And my favorite son has a son. I shall commemorate his birth with my greatest achievement, passing the capital exam for the second time. That's right, I shall name you Son Test, so I never forget. Oh my god, the pressure stressed me out, but that's alright guys, I'm an alcoholic now. God bless the education system. I failed the test. What? I named my grandchild solely to remember this moment. How dare you take this from me? I'll cut off your dong and murder all your sons. Oh, I'm sorry guys, that was the alcohol speaking. I mean, I still have to do it. Commit to the bit. That's what I always say. Also, my 17-year-old wife, the Imperial Princess, keeps complaining about my STDs, excessive drinking, and never-ending plots to murder her family members because she's possessed. Women. Am I right, guys? And it's time for me to murder the first child. Now I know some of you guys are questioning this whole child murder plot. You keep saying stuff like, they're just children. However, have you considered that the Dow is over 50,000 right now? This is really what we should be talking about. And my son Longdong has come of age, which means it's time for him to get married. Contrary to popular belief, he did get bullied in high school, so I'm going to marry him to a really ugly woman. Damn, I'm good at fathering. But to be honest, I feel like I'm a little bit better at unfathering. Another one came of age, and I'm going to marry him to an albino woman. We need more whiteness in our dynasty. Listen guys, I don't want to say anything, but I'm not getting any job offers, even though high school kept promising. And my possessed wife gave me a daughter. Damn it, I was really hoping for a son. But that's alright guys, she is possessed, which means there will be a couple of failures. The secretary director is in an open rebellion. Oh my god guys, this civil war is the job opportunity I was looking for. Never mind, he's rebelling with a single province. That's not gonna do anything, but my plots will be far less successful without him. Anyway, it's time for us to kidnap the emperor. Snip snip little boy. Damn it, he refuses castration. Wait, I don't actually have to ask him. Hilarious. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Why is he getting extra stats just because he's missing a penis? Remember guys, women can destroy your life just by thinking about them. Women. Am I right guys? The emperor is dead and I'm already plotting to murder the new emperor and his brother. Luckily for me, I can now invite the secretary director into the plot, who is still rebelling by the way. How does that even work? Another daughter. Damn. No, don't put that as the name. Ah, whatever. Another exam. I have to take it. Honestly, I'm ready for a job. Just like Turkey is ready to join the European Union. And you are ready to marry Taylor Swift. What's the holdup? Am I right guys? And Longdong has a son. What an uggo. Hilarious. Curses failed again. And there's a coronation for the young emperor. Obviously, I have to go and offer my support as I plot to murder him. Wait a minute, he's appointing me as his spy master. Finally guys, I did it. My wildest dream came true. A high earning, prestigious. Wait a minute, he doesn't have a spy master position because the title of Chinese emperor has a completely different court system. How dare you play with my feelings, you little shit! I'll murder all of your heirs! Oh, I'm sorry guys. That was the alcohol speaking. To be honest, I do not believe I ever managed to resolve my crippling fear of rejection or the ever-present feeling of being useless because I can't get a job. Perhaps alcohol and violence isn't the answer I'm looking for. Preposterous. I just have to keep on pushing. Remember guys, never give up. At some point, things will just line up. Another exam, another failure. Luckily for me, I have plenty of blackmail money waiting to be collected from people who have a proper education and a real job. Man, at this point I feel like a failure, so I have to murder the emperor and murder the next emperor so I can feel like I'm important. Remember guys, your self-worth is directly connected to your list of achievements, so you should always strive to increase it, no matter how many people you hurt along the way. Wait a minute, the peasants are rebelling. Oh crap, I'm gonna be real with you guys. High school never prepared me for a government collapse of this magnitude. And what's worse, I'm no longer plotting to murder the most powerful man on the planet, but rather 2 children. I mean, I'll still do it for the fun of it, but it doesn't bring the same level of prestige. Alright guys, it's time for us to survive the Civil War by constantly moving through states and avoid justice for all the terrible crimes we've committed. By the time China reunifies, our crimes will be insignificant by comparison, if my deep studies of the Yugoslav War are to be believed. Alright kids, from now on we're going to live with the Chens, as the head of the family is my friend. Wait, you guys didn't think that just because I'm a pervert murdering children, I don't have friends? Listen here guys, we really need to talk about hurtful stereotypes. And it seems that my bestest friend is on a warpath to unite China. You guys know what that means. It's time for me to commit murder for the Chinese unification and friendship. I'm also going to visit the brothel and drink until I pass out, as it's a Tuesday. Oh crap, I got the bloody flux, which means I poop blood. I'm sorry wife, but we can't do butt stuff tonight. I'm cured, thank God, my marriage is safe. Oh crap, now my wife has it. Damn it, it was my turn on the butt stuff. This marriage is falling apart. Favorite son, oh no, our father-son relationship is going to shit with blood. At least we're winning the war, and it seems that most of the warlords are starting to consolidate. Now obviously I'm going to attempt to speed up everything by committing a series of high-profile assassinations. And the 1 assassination, at least you won't get to poop blood. And the 2 assassination, damn, I need better catchphrases before I murder people. That didn't change anything. You know what guys, I'm starting to think that violence isn't the right answer. Oh my god. That's why I couldn't pass the test or get the job. Jesus Christ, I've killed so many. If it weren't for the brothel and alcohol, I would be very depressed right now. Finally, the job offer I've always wanted. That's right, I'm actually the spy master of my bestest friend. Let the high-profile assassinations commence. I'm sorry, random warlord. I'm just doing my job. Now here's a crazy new idea. Human trafficking. Think about it guys, if I kidnap every warlord, the second I declare war on them, I automatically win. And here comes the first prisoner. Welcome to the dungeon, lad. You're gonna be here a while. And here comes the first child. It's alright guys, I have no morals. And I guess I should help my guy win the war. We're friends, aren't we? Alright, you're a kid, I'm a napper. Connect the dots, get in the dungeon. Man, this is going faster than I anticipated. I'm also going to invest in some diplomatic perks. Remember guys, having a high diplomacy skill means that everyone will like you, which makes it far easier to create a large network of highly influential individuals, do business together, spend your vacation days in their summer homes, mentor their children, exchange birthday gifts and highly personalized letters. Once they discover your crazy sex dungeon, they'll have a lot to explain. Finally, I arrested the guy my boss is at war with, which means he instantly won. Now that's what I call proof of concept. Alright, it's time for us to move to Gao, who are currently in war with Tang, and both of their leaders are in my dungeon, so as soon as I join, it's all over. If that doesn't prove that a secret police who kidnaps your political enemies is a great idea, nothing will. Oh my god, it's official! I'm going to be spy master. Hello fellow counselors. Damn, talk about unwelcoming to the new guy. Am I right guys? A rebellion? That seems like a quite complex problem. However, I know the right answer. That's right, it's violence. Honestly, I have no idea why I kept failing the capital test. You know, I'm starting to feel like high school failed to prepare me for the challenges of real life. Like, how do I pay taxes? How to talk to girls? How to start a business? How exactly am I supposed to mentally prepare myself to face my friend whilst simultaneously plotting to kidnap his son, as I know he doesn't have much to live and I want to be the absolute ruler of China? What are the most important things whilst looking for a job? You know, the normal things. Gun and Zhao are fighting each other, however, both of them are in my dungeon. And of course, as the aggressor is Gun, I have to move to his kingdom, join the war, and win. And just like that, thanks to secret police diplomacy, there were 5 kingdoms left. Alright, it's time for me to murder my best friend. I'm sorry guys. As a man of honor, I have to respect the fact that we are friends, and I can't simply lock him in the crazy sex dungeon I keep all of my political prisoners, as that would be very awkward. Instead, I shall keep his son. Remember guys, murdering your friends is actually really easy as they already trust you and naturally lower their guard. This is actually the final step. That's right, every Chinese warlord is currently in a black site under my management. What can I say, guys? An aggressive police state is the right answer to keeping the peace in China. And all the teachers kept failing me on the test when I gave that answer. I bet they feel pretty stupid right about now. Okay, but there isn't anyone left to unify China because they're all in my dungeon. So I'm going to free my liege as he's a compassionate thinker and I also have his son. This will allow me to milk him for money and he declared war. Perfect. And just like that, we have 4 kingdoms. And my liege goes to war again. Wait a minute, is this part of China? I had no idea. Give me a minute. And he actually did it all by himself. And now we have the Empire of Gan. Incredible. Especially for an 85-year-old dying, infirm man. See that, guys? It's never too late. So don't rush it. I'm also going to request a bribe, so I don't murder him in his sleep. And finally, I'm a diplomat. That's right. Everyone wants me. Everyone needs me. My wife is dead. Oh no! Now I'm a 67-year-old man in my prime. I certainly have to get married again. My liege is dead. Well, that's kind of awkward. I'm in the middle of my plots. Hang on a minute. I can start a claimant faction for a woman. This will allow me to murder her husband, which is just a formality. Don't think about it. And finally, our love can bloom. She refuses to marry me. Why? Oh, because she's terrified of me. That's alright, guys. I'm going to abduct her, which is just a formality, by the way. Don't think about it. And now, of course, I can recruit her in my court and force her to marry me. That's right, guys. I have a 29-year-old woman and she gets a 69-year-old man in his prime. What more could a woman possibly want? Oh, I know. How about murdering her brother, press her claim to the throne, and leverage the fact that her nephew is in my dungeon, so she automatically wins and becomes the Empress of China. Now, this goes without saying, but she absolutely loves me. Remember, guys, women simply can't resist controlling the might and glory of the most powerful country on the planet, China. Women. Am I right, guys? Now I know what you guys are thinking, but what can you possibly do if your wife is the Empress? Well, that's very simple, guys. I get to retire. That's right. I can finally live out my wildest fantasies as the master of the horse. Finally fulfilling my childhood dream, because of course I have those. Did you guys actually believe that just because I kidnap and murder people as a job, I don't have other passions? Okay, guys, we really need to talk about hurtful stereotypes. I'm kidding. Haha. You guys actually thought that my ambitions ended with horses. Hilarious. No, I'm going to move to Dai as I have a couple of claims I can press. And just like that, my wildest fantasy of being a governor. And my teachers kept telling me I would never get here because I'm a piece of shit. But who's laughing now? Am I right, guys? Oh crap, I have the smallpox and I'm about to die. Why do bad things always happen to good people? I'm cured. Hell yeah. Now that's what I call cosmic justice. And my liege declares war. Well, that's convenient. There are 3 kingdoms left. My wife gave birth to twins. Oh, there you go, guys. The dong is definitely strong. I shall name you the famous Chinese name, the favorite son. And of course, spare parts, a classic Chinese name. Now, of course, I have to kidnap my liege and sort out my family affairs. Favorite son. He's my favorite son, by the way. I'm going to disinherit him. Next, I'm going to imprison all of my sons, except for the last 2. Resign from governing, as I shall no longer pretend like I care about society. Move back to my wife so I can commit murder. And just like that, the favorite son is the Emperor of Gan and I am his regent. This makes me the most powerful man in China. Next, I'm going to secure the line of succession by murdering all of my arrested sons. Finally, I shall find a building high enough. And this is one small step for man and one giant leap to the Jeffrey Epstein cosplay. Wait, I survived. Well, I guess I have no choice. I have to marry a 17-year-old, as I still have an obligation to the Bill Cosby cosplay, and I do have to handle a couple of rebels. But that's not a problem, as I am the greatest spy master of all time, and no one even suspects about my crazy sex dungeon, probably. And finally, I can go on top of the highest building and commit to the bit. Thank God. I would be very upset if I survived for a second time. But there you go, guys, I get to live out my wildest fantasy fantasy by being the favorite son. Obviously, I have to rename our country and our flag to match our mighty dynasty, which will unify China. And of course, I shall arrange a marriage between myself and a Korean princess, which is a big part of my Chinese emperor fantasy. And with this brand new alliance, unifying China will be easy. And we shall start by destroying Xia. Keep in mind, once I become emperor of China, I get to decide what goes on the test. And I'm going to help you guys, as I don't want you to fail. Always remember, the key to peace and prosperity is a brutal police state. The path to personal success, political influence and wealth is kidnappings and blackmail. And if you're ever unable to win a war, even though you're winning every battle, but your opponent still has more men, the answer is mercenaries. And if you can't pay for something, use government funds, as government funds aren't real, and they can go on the negative as much as you want. Also, never forget, none may challenge the might and glory of the empire. Oh crap, we lost. How does that even work? Remember guys, always give high military positions based on political favors. I mean, if the war isn't going well, you can always just hire more mercenaries. Who's gonna stop you? And with this brutal victory and another brutal victory, we are victorious. Now unfortunately, I need a couple of more provinces and a lot more money if I'm to form China. But, and this is the most important lesson, I'm 12, and by the time I'm 30, I would have figured everything. Probably. Until next time.